Hello and welcome again to 9.4, Solving Quads by the Quadratic Formula. So, in our first sentence here, another way to solve quadratic equations is to use the, if you hadn't guessed by the fact that it's in big bold letters here, and written here, and written here, and I just said it, another way to solve quadratic equations is to use the quadratic formula. So named because it's a formula used on quadratics. Craziness, right? Now it looks like a whole bunch of gobbledygook. It's a huge thing. Doesn't look very kind. People oftentimes get scared by it, but it's really not a big deal. X equals. So it's saying that your solutions, the x coordinates of your solutions are going to be negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now these b's, and these a's, and these c's come directly from the equation. Remember, a term, b term, c term. So it's really just a matter of take numbers, plug them in. Right? It's no different than that. As long as you can manage to figure out what numbers you need, you're fine. So let's try this one. If I want to solve this, I might think, what's the greatest common factor? Let's see if I can factor it first. Okay, no. What's factors of 6 that add up to 5? Alright, well maybe I could do that. If I don't feel like factoring, or factoring is too difficult, or sometimes factoring is even impossible, then I could think, okay, well maybe I'll complete the square. Okay, well I'm not that comfortable with completing the square, and that could turn out to not work out very well with the square roots. So why don't I try quadratic formula? Because quadratic formula is, that along with completing the square are the only methods that will work every single time and give you the most accurate answers. Okay? Factoring, not always going to work. Graphing is not, very accurate. So let's do quadratic formula here, which means I'm going to look at x equals. I'm going to have a, wow, that's a curvy line. I'm going to have a big fraction bar. I'm trying so hard to make that straight. I'm going to have square root here, and on the bottom, I need a 2. Alright, so now that I have that, I'm going to put the rest of the things in different colors. So over here, it's supposed to be negative b and plus or minus the square root of, put b still in blue, b squared, minus 4 a, we'll put in red, and this one I'll put in green, 4ac over 2a. Okay, that way hopefully maybe we can keep things keep things together better. So in the context of my problem, what do I have? I have a is supposed to be a 2, so a equals 2. B, which is blue, is supposed to be negative 5. Make sure you keep track of those negatives too. This isn't just b is 5, b is negative 5. And C is 3. Alright, so now that I've pulled this information out of here, you've done things like this before countless times, where you just take the numbers and place them in where they're supposed to go and evaluate. Alright, it shouldn't be any harder than that. So let's go ahead and start placing things where they belong. I'm going to do negative b. So if b is already negative, that means negative 5. And then that's going to be plus or minus the square root of, again, b, which is negative 5, squared, and then minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 3, and that's going to be all of it over. Remember that the division symbol goes all the way over to this number as well. All over 2 times a, which again is 2. Alright, now it's simply a matter of how do we simplify? Okay, well, let's take a look. I'm going to have over on this side, I'm going to start doing this all in black now that we've substituted side, negative makes that just a 5. Plus or minus the square root of, what does this all evaluate to? This is 25. And this is going to be 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So 25 minus 24, 1. All over 2 times 2, which is 4. And look at that. All I need to do now is 5 plus the square root of 1 over 4, which means that'll be, let's just put equal signs here. So 5 plus the square root of 1 is just 6. 6 over 4 is one of my possibilities. Or 5 minus 1 over 4, which is 1. Okay, so if I simplify this one, this is technically 3 over 2, but these are my two answers. Okay, now let's look at the second one. I am going to help you by substituting in values, and I want you to finish this one. Okay, so A is 4, B is 20, C is 25. Okay, now what can we do about this one? How can I possibly go about doing the quadratic formula with these numbers? Because these numbers look bigger. Well, it doesn't really matter. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to do the exact same thing. Negative b plus or minus. Doesn't matter what the numbers are, it'll always still work. B squared minus 4 AC. And remembering that it is all over 2a. And this is what the x value equals. Right? So it equals negative, and b is 20, plus or minus, well, this is going to be a big number, 20 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 4, times c, which is 25, all over 2 times 4. Alright, so we got a lot going on there. What you're going to realize, though, is that this right here is going to be a lot simpler than you think. 20 squared minus 4 times 25. These two numbers, this one here, and then what this evaluates to, are going to be very, very similar. It's going to make this square root very easy. Now, another thing you need to always remember with using the quadratic formula is order of operations. I don't want to see somebody doing 20 squared and then subtracting 4. Okay? This multiplication needs to happen, this exponent needs to happen, and then you can subtract the two things. Alright, order of operations is going to be very, very important here. Alright, so I want to check out what you get for your solutions when you come into class, and that will be that. Alright, quadratic formula doesn't have to be a big scary thing. Hopefully, you guys will be able to get to the answer of this, and you'll be super happy and super excited because you're super awesome. See you guys in class.